Keanu Reeves has put in thousands of hours of training over the years for his role as John Wick, and he doesn't just train so he can look like he can fight or fire a gun. Keanu Reeves has actually become a real martial artist, a highly proficient shooter, a stunt driver, and he's relentlessly trained in the gym to make sure that his 50-year-old body can handle everything he's throwing at it.
And being over 50, the physical limitations that one gets at that age has to be overcome with even more hours of physical fitness training.
And Keanu's first step to being the best version of himself is always making sure his body is up to the job. To do this, Keanu works with personal trainer and movement specialist Patrick Murphy. As John Wick, Keanu is always taking part in long drawn-out fight scenes, where he'll be dispatching wave after wave of enemies, and most of these scenes are done with minimal cuts, so Keanu needs to be incredibly well conditioned from a cardiovascular standpoint to keep up with all the action. But it's not just his cardio he needs to work on. While training for John Wick, Keanu always spends a lot of time working on his shoulder endurance and his grip and core strength, so he can shoot scene after scene while handling heavy weapons for a long period of time without losing his precision. To make sure Keanu's body is in tip-top shape, Patrick programs him huge circuits with large volumes of reps and minimal rest. But Patrick isn't just there to get Keanu's conditioning and muscular endurance up. The work Patrick does with him also encourages proper posture and alignment of his body, so Keanu can express his true strength by using optimal leverage and body mechanics. It's thanks to this proactive injury prevention training, along with other recovery modalities like massage and acupuncture, that allows Keanu to survive filming hours upon hours of heavy-hitting action scenes. Speaking of heavy hitting, unlike Neo in The Matrix, Keanu didn't download his combat skills for John Wick. He spent hours upon hours training to become a real martial arts fighter.
He can do everything. He's just as good as any stunt guy out there.
John Wick's fighting style takes elements from Japanese jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, tactical three-gun, and standing judo, and puts it all together to create the most lethal martial art on earth, called gun fu. When faced with an enemy, John Wick uses standing judo techniques, along with smart positioning, to take his opponents to the ground, which creates enough of an opening for him to use the gun part of gun fu and take them out. But even if his opponent is able to avoid getting blasted on the ground, John Wick will quickly grapple his opponent into submission using a variety of jiu-jitsu moves. Most of the fighting you see John Wick do on screen is actually Keanu himself. He's become so skilled in these different martial arts that he's actually been awarded an honorary black belt in judo by the 3-time judo Olympic champion Numara Tadhiro. Okay, fighting is cool, but you know what's even cooler?
Guns. Lots of guns.
Keanu has spent thousands of hours being trained how to handle weapons by a master 3-gun champion. What is 3-gun? 3-gun is a time trial based sport where you run a course shooting targets as quickly as you can using a pistol, rifle, and shotgun. The director of the John Wick movies, Chad Stahelski, wanted the action in the movies to be fast paced and dynamic. So this meant Keanu had to be able to shoot, reload, and switch weapons, all with incredible speed and precision. And to get to that level of gun handling, Keanu spent thousands of hours training with all manners of shotguns, rifles, and pistols until he became a master at quick aiming, switching weapons, shooting, and doing pretty much everything else we see John Wick do in the movies. Now, we all know what really makes John Wick a badass is his suit. And if you want to look just as badass, then you got to check out my partners over at SuperX. They make the world's most badass workout apparel. You can think of them like Lululemon meets Marvel. They've got tons of badass designs based off all your favorite heroes. And thanks to the form-fitting design of their clothes, they make you look extra jacked. They're always coming out with new limited edition designs, so you want to check them out now before they run out. Go ahead and use the link down in my description to visit their website, then use code DEMERCE to get 20% off your first order. It's a great way to support the channel. Now back to the video. While shooting John Wick, Keanu wanted to do as many of his own stunts as possible. So of course we can't forget to talk about his stunt driving training, where he learned to drift, speed up and stop on a dime, and perform 90-degree slides with amazing accuracy. Keanu was put into work so he could do as many of his own stunts as possible. Keanu went above and beyond to really make this movie special, and it's really inspiring to see how much he loves what he does. While doing my research for this video, I watched a ton of interviews with the cast and crew of John Wick, and they all said the same thing. They've never seen an actor who's so dedicated and passionate about a role, and I'm happy to see that all of his hard work has more than paid off. And he's created some of the most engaging, creative action movies of all time. For everyone watching, you gotta remember one thing. When you put genuine passion and love into what you do, and you work to become the best version of yourself, you will always win. It might take some time and some perseverance, but you will win. Now get out there and make Keanu proud by working hard on something you're passionate about. And if building muscle is your goal, then you gotta watch my video on Arnold's top tips for building muscle. See you there.